We see it a lot that Japanese productions, whether they be games or mainly anime, are getting censored in the English countries, the Western countries, and a lot of us fans of the Eastern content, we don't like that. We don't want you to touch them. We go to them because they are not Western content. And you see a lot of stuff with these vocalizers and all that, where they try to turn something that's inherently Japanese into the West, right? And that's like, we don't want that. We go to them because it's different. And some Japanese content is changing itself to try and chase that Western market, and they make it with the West in mind, being like, oh, well, we were thinking about the West and they have stuff like this, right? So we'll put it in there. Don't do that, because we don't go to your content in Japan for Western stuff. We go to it for Eastern stuff because it's different. And it's a breath of fresh air from all the garbage that's coming out. And two very high-profile directors from Japan have spoken out. The first one is very near and dear to my heart. The Sword Art Online anime director, Tomohiko Ito, has talked about Japanese anime. It has the potential to replace Hollywood, but it's focusing too much on global appeal, and that could lead to failure. And I completely agree. So, he talked about the success of Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle movie, and the Chainsaw Man movie. Both movies which did great overseas in the West. Demon Slayer beat Superman. In 2 weeks, not even, it beat Superman. And I know Chainsaw Man did really, really well. I wasn't keeping track of Chainsaw Man, but I was keeping track of Demon Slayer. So Ito acknowledges that Japanese anime industry has been explosively growing overseas in the past couple of years, and this was mainly due to COVID, right? Because of the COVID pandemic, a lot of people didn't have stuff to do, so they just started watching anime. And I am ashamed to admit that I was one of those people who the COVID pandemic really allowed me to watch anime, but unlike some of these other people, I don't try to change shit. I'm just enjoying the ride, baby. I'm just enjoying the fun times. So, he spoke and he said, I've recently heard the news that Toho has acquired a British anime distribution company, but I get the impression it was actually when Aniplex acquired Crunchyroll in 2020 that Japanese anime started exploding in popularity across the globe. Taking into consideration the WGA strike from a few years ago and the influence of COVID, it seems like the influential power of Hollywood movies has been weakening. So I think Japanese anime have managed to become a good replacement for them. That is fucking so true. Hollywood has fucking just died. And it's been glorious to see. The power of Hollywood and these celebrities has died over these past couple of years. Because one, they don't shut the fuck up. They spout their fucking nonsense and they talk down to us, the customer. Right? Because, oh, good God almighty, I pretended to be someone for 2 hours on a TV screen, so I should tell you how you should live your life, how you should vote, how you should think. No. In actuality, your job is less important than most of the people watching your stuff. Because the people watching your stuff are construction workers who are building houses, who are building bridges, they're bankers, they're even fast food workers who help the fucking food industry go around, are way more important than someone who pretends to be a lizard for 2 minutes on a TV screen, alright? So Hollywood has lost a lot of its luster because it has just become so overtly preachy. Right? Telling you what to think, and it has lost its way of doing what it should have done, which is entertain the people. Because sometimes we have a bad life and we just want to get out of it. We want to escape it. So what do? We turn on the TV and we watch a movie for an hour and a half, or watch an episode of a TV show, and we just lose ourselves for a little bit. But Hollywood has lost that because even in your escapist entertainment, they try to shove their little talking points in there, and it just takes you right out of it. And I hate that completely. And I'm not the only one. Go look at the Hollywood box office of the past couple years. It's been awful. I believe 2025, they said, was the worst box office in years. Well, duh. There's no good movies coming out. Very few of them. And people aren't going to movie theaters anymore because you went all in on streaming. And that was a worse thing to do because not all the streaming platforms are making money. A lot of them are still in the red. Netflix and Hulu, I believe, are the only ones that make money. Disney Plus still doesn't make money. Amazon Prime doesn't make money. Apple TV doesn't make money. Right? Like, so many of them still don't make money because you went all in. And by going all in on streaming services, you have effectively killed the movie theater. I don't go to see movies in the movie theater a lot anymore. I used to, now I don't. One, because there's no good movies to go out and see. And two, the price of going to a movie theater is an arm and a leg. Why would I do that? The price of going to see a movie at a movie theater and getting a drink and some food and buying the ticket, I could have gone to a restaurant. Like, seriously. So yes, Ito is completely right. Japanese anime has the potential to replace Hollywood. And it already has. Honest to God, it already has. Now, the Sword Art Online director pointed out that despite Japanese animated films being in the position to rise above the popularity of media giants like Hollywood, making anime with the global audience in mind could be a double-edged sword. There have been many cases where focusing too much on global appeal has led to failure. I think Japanese people's idea of what could be well received worldwide is probably something people overseas don't enjoy. True. Because again, I don't go to Japanese content for you to try to appeal to me as a Westerner. I go to it because I want to see what you're doing in Japan. However, the emphasis on political correctness is strong in America. Fuck, is that not true? So they might think Japan is the only country that still produces work in which scantily clad girls battle. The kind of stuff that would be considered strange in North America. Buddy, this is why I'm here. Japan is the only country that still produces work in which scantily clad girls battle. That's the selling point! I don't get that here anymore. On a related note, with overseas expansion becoming a hot topic in the past couple of years, many industry veterans have been discussing on how to exactly approach anime production, knowing that there is a huge demand for it beyond the domestic market. Similar to Ito's remarks, and we'll get to this, we have the article up here. Neon Genesis Evangelion director Hideki Anno suggested that making anime for the global market is not the way to go. I personally never made anything with the overseas audience in mind. I could only make domestic stuff. Production companies are quick to say, think about the overseas market, but personally, that's not my goal. My stance is simply, it first needs to be a work that will be greatly well received and found interesting in Japan, but if by any chance people overseas also find it interesting, I'm grateful for that. That's the way it should be. Just make your content for the people in Japan. People overseas like it. Cool. That's awesome, dude. Like, you think fucking One Piece or Naruto, My Hero Academia, or hell, Sword Art Online was made with the Western audience in mind? No. It was authors who wanted to tell a story and mainly do it for the Japanese community. But then they became popular overseas. And they're just like, cool, we have a bigger audience now. That's sweet. I'm still going to make it for Japanese people, though. That's how it should be. And this isn't just for Japan. This should be a lesson for everyone who makes something. Don't try to please everyone or think about, I have to make this for this market and this market. Just make it. Just make it for that core audience you know you want. And if other people go to like it, cool. That's awesome, dude. But always focus on that core market. Because those are the people you need to please. Those are the people who will be your ride or dies. So, he is completely right, Tomohiki Ito, completely right. Now, we can go to the Hideki Anno article, right here, where he says, here, when asked how these changes are impacting the way anime content is made and distributed, Anno remarked that anime and film industries haven't made any conscious changes in the past few years, even though the environment is slightly changed. Yeah, there's the overseas market in mind. Here. Here, there's the overseas one. He said that working on Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, he wasn't considering the overseas market at all. Apparently, he decided to produce the film independently because it meant no one else could interfere, and he was ready to take full responsibility for it regardless of how it performed. Anno explains that making a film for a non-Japanese audience comes with some considerable difficulties, especially in the language barrier. Works that are made through a Japanese thought process can only be understood in Japanese. Film has both visual and sound elements, so compared to other forms of storytelling, the language barrier is not that. However, lines in the script are still in Japanese, and the drama is achieved through the thoughts and feelings and characters experienced in Japanese. The Evangelion director remarks that such works can still be well received overseas as well, given that the audience understands the intentions and nuances of the narrative expressed in Japanese. However, he also says, well, some people actually can't. I should stop that there because some people are too fucking stupid, so they can't do that. However, he also says that as a creator, he can't accommodate his work to the audience. I'm sorry, but the audience will have to be the one to adapt. Yes! Yes! The work should never adapt for the audience. The audience must adapt for the work, especially if it's something from a different market, like Japan or Korea, right? Or wherever, India, wherever. You're going into something from a different country, so you are going to have to adapt yourself to that. That other country should not have to adapt for you. Just like how something from the West, like say something from America, should not adapt to appease someone from America. Or China, huh, Hollywood? Should not appease them. They should have to like adapt their way of watching this to you because it's a different culture. That's how it should be. Compared to video games, which are interactive media, film is a one-way road, Anno explains. Even if the audience complains, that doesn't necessarily mean that the complaints are reaching the creators. Film isn't a medium that accommodates its content for the viewer. That's why the audience has to trust the creator and what is interesting, and why it's completely fine to keep production domestic. Even Ghibli and Miyazaki stick to domestic production, and I'm sure that they don't even think about the overseas market. I'm sure they fucking don't. As Anna suggests, this overseas production can come later, and that's not something creators should be concerned about. We should let the business people turn our works into products and sell them. That's the best course of action. But a part of why Japanese works haven't been able to make it to the West until now is because we were kind of bad at selling them. So there we go. Two high-profile directors saying what pretty much all us anime fans have been saying. Don't try to appease the West because we don't want you to. We go to you because you're not the West. And doing that is the sign of death, right? That is the sign of death. Never try to appease the West, especially the way it is now. Definitely don't. Because this is where you get all these fucking tourists who come in and go, oh my god, this is so icky, doopa-doopa-doo. Shut up. Shut up. So there we go. That's it. I just wanted to go over that. Two high-profile directors saying what we've all been thinking, and hopefully a lot of people in Japan who make content continue to operate the way these guys say they should. Let me know what you all think about this in the comments down below. I will see you all next time.